the most incredible man-made marvels on Earth. Here is something most people never realize. Even in a world full of skyscrapers and screens, there are human creations so massive, so precise, or so strange that they still make scientists argue, travelers stare in silence, and whole cultures reshape their identity around them. That is the magic of the marvels we are exploring today. These are not just structures. They are the fingerprints of civilizations that refuse to accept the limitations of their time. And honestly, every time I research places like these, I end up wondering how many other masterpieces are out there just waiting to be rediscovered. So, if you are ready to travel across continents and centuries in one video, stay with me, because some of the places you are about to see might completely change how you think humans are capable of building anything at all. The Great Wall of China. The Great Wall is one of those rare marvels where the scale hits you only when you are physically standing on it, staring at stone that winds over mountains like a frozen dragon stretching into the haze. Most visitors stick to the busy sections near Beijing, but the real shock comes when you wander into the quieter stretches where the wind replaces the crowds and the wall feels more like an ancient spine clinging to the landscape. People often imagine it as a single unified structure, but when you walk it, you realize how diverse, patched, repaired, and layered it truly is, like centuries of determination stacked stone by stone. There are parts where life once thrived around the watchtowers and parts where nature has taken back what humans built. But that contrast is exactly what makes the experience unforgettable. The Pyramids of Giza. Standing in front of the Pyramids of Giza feels a bit like meeting a celebrity you have known your whole life but suddenly realize you underestimated. Every picture makes them look big, but in person they almost feel impossible, especially when you notice how precisely the stones align in the desert light. Travelers sometimes assume the mystery around them is exaggerated, but the closer you get, the more you understand why generations keep asking questions about how these giants were built without modern tools. Yet, despite all the speculation, being there is not intimidating. It is strangely grounding, like you are witnessing the stubbornness of a civilization that refused to settle for ordinary. Walk around the backsides of the pyramids where fewer people gather, and the silence makes the structures feel even more unreal. And if you have ever visited a place that felt older than your imagination, share it. I love hearing about those moments. Machu Picchu. Machu Picchu is one of those sites where the journey up the mountain almost prepares your mind for what you are about to see. And then the moment you reach the top, the ruins reveal themselves like a secret you were not supposed to discover this easily. Most people talk about the beauty, but the real awe comes from the precision. Terraces carved with mathematical accuracy, stonework so tight that plants grow around it rather than through it, and pathways that make you feel like you are walking through a living map. Some travelers worry about the altitude or the climb, but once you are surrounded by the clouds drifting past stone walls, the breathlessness becomes more wonder than effort. The whole place feels suspended between earth and sky, and if you sit quietly for a minute, you can almost imagine hearing life echoing off those terraces. If you have been to a place where nature and engineering blend seamlessly, tell me about it because places like this are rare. The Colosseum in Rome. The Colosseum may be iconic, but most people miss the emotional punch you get when you walk through its interior corridors, where shadows stretch along the ancient stone like the past is still pacing beside you. The structure is scarred, rebuilt, weathered, and imperfect, but that is what makes it powerful. It wears its history openly. Some visitors expect it to feel touristy or overly familiar, but standing inside the arena shifts everything. The scale suddenly feels personal, and the architecture reveals layers that you never see in photos. Even the chipped blocks and missing pieces tell their own story about resilience and human obsession with spectacle. Take your time wandering the upper edges and quieter corners, because the details are what bring the place to life. And if you have ever walked into a landmark expecting one feeling and getting something completely different, I want to hear that. The Taj Mahal. The Taj Mahal is one of those places that completely resets your understanding of symmetry, almost like the entire structure was carved out of a single white dream. Most people expect beauty, and yes, it is beautiful, but the real surprise happens when the marble starts shifting colors with the sky, turning warm in the morning, cool at midday, and glowing soft pink at sunset. Some travelers worry it might be overrated, but that expectation disappears the moment you walk through the entrance gate, and the mausoleum suddenly snaps into view like a perfect frame from a film. The closer you get, the more the craftsmanship reveals itself. Delicate carvings, inlaid gemstones, verses etched with such precision, they look printed rather than carved. This is a place that rewards patience, so do not rush through it. Let the light guide your experience. And tell me if you have ever seen architecture that felt emotional rather than just impressive. Petra's Hidden Depths. Petra's treasury gets all the attention, but what hits you harder is everything beyond it. The long canyon leading in with walls towering so high, they feel like stone curtains. The hidden tombs tucked into cliffs, and the quiet spaces where ancient life once echoed. Travelers sometimes imagine Petra as just one facade, but the city spreads deep into valleys and ridges that reveal themselves slowly as you explore. Walking through the Sick, the narrow sandstone passage feels like entering a secret world carved by time and persistence. And when the sun hits the red stone, it glows in shades that seem unreal. Some visitors worry the desert heat will overwhelm them, but the shadows and breeze inside the canyon soften the journey, making each step feel like part of a story unfolding. Stay curious, wander farther than the obvious spots, and let Petra surprise you with its scale. And share in the comments if you have ever walked through a place that felt like a forgotten world. Angkor Wat's Endless Maze. Angkor Wat looks massive from afar, but the real magic happens when you start exploring the inner corridors, where carved stories stretch along the walls in endless detail. It is one of those sites where every turn reveals something new. Towering gateways, moss-coated stones, roots curling over walls like nature is slowly reclaiming what humans built. Some travelers think the heat or humidity might make the visit difficult, but the beauty is that the temples offer pockets of cool shade where time seems to pause. And then, when the light breaks through between the towers, the whole place transforms into a dreamscape that feels both ancient and alive. Walk slowly, explore side paths, and let the scale of human imagination show itself one corridor at a time. If you have ever been to a site that felt like a puzzle you were walking through, let me know. If you enjoyed exploring these incredible man-made marvels, make sure to like the video so more travelers can discover the stories behind these legendary creations. Subscribe if you want more deep-dive travel guides that go beyond the usual lists, and drop a comment telling me which of these places left the biggest impression on you. Your support keeps this channel exploring, and I cannot wait to take you somewhere even more extraordinary in the next video.